Remember how in my last video yesterday, I specifically said, just my luck, tomorrow, Sofi is probably gonna release business banking and options trading, and I'm just gonna be an idiot? Well, that basically just happened. Let me explain. But before that, I just want to show you how freaking bullish this chart was. Oh my goodness, I didn't talk about it yesterday, but so what happened yesterday was Sofi got downgraded by two people, right? One by Barclays and one by KBW. In the KBW one, they literally recommend short selling the stock, not just selling the stock, not being like, oh, it's gonna underperform. They literally recommended short selling the stock, and the stock completely tanked for the first hour of the stock market. And just the price action of this stock made me so bullish. First hour, bam, down to 615. It dropped a good 20-30 cents, and it couldn't go down anymore. It just bounced back up immediately. What this is telling me is that basically I'm assuming some big player, right, some hedge fund, some institution, they are down big on betting against Sofi, and they already exhausted the resources with trying to get people to paper hands, and all the people that are paper hands, they already capitulated. Literally now, everyone that's holding the stock there's no appetite to sell the stock here. Before, people would say that there's no appetite to sell it, but now there's legit, I don't see any appetite to sell this stock down here towards the low 60s. And as of today, it jumped way back up, right? It reclaimed that previous wick down, and then it reclaimed the previous wick down from 650. Monday, it went from 650, 656, down to 630, right? And then it was just trading in that channel for one day. And from 630, it dropped down to 615, and then went straight back up in one day to 630-ish, and went straight back up again to 656 today. I'm not good at TA, but that is the most bullish snapback rally, screw you, I don't care, I'm buying momentum I've seen in a while. Almost as bad as when Square randomly got downgraded or randomly got exposed by Oppenheimer, and then people were like, wait, you exposed Square for having, you're exposed Square because they were in a couple of rap songs, and people were like, that's stupid, right? And they bought it back up. Do you remember when Sofi was first downgraded from 10 to 8 or something in January, right? January 2nd, right? The day after New Year's or something like that. It went from 10, or it went from I forgot, it dropped $2, I think it dropped 20 or 30% in 2 days. That same dude, or not that same dude, but that same institution, KBW, they tried it again with some crappy analyst, and then Sofi just did not entertain it at all. That price action is so bullish. I think there's either one of two things, right? One, someone shorted the stock and really needed to get out, which is why they first tried getting other retail to sell the stock, and they ran out of retail to sell the stock. All the people that were willing to sell the stock sold the stock, and then they realized that, well, there's no one selling the stock anymore, right? So then now they're recommending to short the stock, and then basically they're using that as, okay, just get out as much as you can, right? And basically I think that I don't want to say anything about short squeeze or promise anything, but some short seller is screwed, or institutions are seeing, okay, this is the last chance to get in. Let's try to spread as much FUD as possible, and then drop the price as much as possible, and then buy in at that low. And I think that's what that is. I think that is what that buying pressure is that occurred yesterday and today. People found the bottom there. They tried to drop it down as low as possible, hit the bottom, and then people just started buying up ridiculously, and then it reclaimed the previous drop from 650 to 630s. That's absolutely crazy. I mean it's possible that they're just pumping it again to rewrite those 650 calls, and then you're just squeezing retail for as much options premium as possible. That's possible, but I've never that's a crazy snapback. The fact that we ended positive after a downgrade recommending a short sell, the fact that we ended up positive just blows my mind. Anyways, going back to where I'm an idiot and how I'm always proved wrong because every one of my predictions never goes correct, which says something about the last prediction I just made. I think it's also possible that maybe some short sellers that sold it really short, right, they're looking to hand that bag to someone else. Anyways, why do I say that Sofi basically just announced they're doing SMB banking, they're going to do options soon, right? Why do I say this? So Noda was just on an interview with CNBC. Now, he doesn't specifically say that, oh, we're going to start SMB banking, we're going to start business banking, but he does say a few things that allude to the fact that they're going to start ramping up lending soon. So previously, during these past 2 quarters, they did mention and they did reiterate that they were going to focus more on growing the technology side, right? And that they would start, and they would kind of taper down on like less, try to have lending contribute less to their overall revenue, right? But then he says specifically in this interview that now that rates are going down, right? Now that we're sitting on a bunch of cash, now that we've improved our technology side a bit, yeah, we'll start lending will start contributing more.
Be more conservative, to wait to see where the economy shakes out, where interest rates shake out. And now we're coming into a picture where that's a lot clearer. We've delivered really strong growth without really using the lending business to help drive it. And now we're in a position where, as we go into 2025, to use both.
So what does that mean? They have more cash, right? They have interest rates are going down, right? I think that now, I'm just flip-flopping all over the place, but now I think that Sofi is really looking into business banking. And it makes sense, right? So now that they're sitting on more cash, they can actually be more aggressive with lending out their cash because they have more of like a safety net, right? They don't have to worry, what if our funds get depleted too much, right? They don't want a bank run, right? So then with that bank run, with the recent bank run just still fresh in mind, right? They're definitely trying to stay more cautious and err on the safer side of things, right? And something that I didn't think of before, but before when Sofi wasn't sitting on such a large pile of cash, personal loans in general are smaller than business loans, right? I'm sure all of us know that, right? Like a business won't really be that happy with like, oh, here's a $500 personal credit line. here's a $5,000 personal or business credit line, right? They won't be that happy with that. So now that they're sitting on more cash, they can offer more money. And with interest rates going down, right, they'll be a little bit safer. So in Anthony noticing all these things, right, and him mentioning all these things in this interview, I do believe that they are looking to implementing business banking soon, or at least, or somehow improving their lending side of the business. In regards to option trading, I also believe that they're going to implement this soon, right? They said that they would, in the interview, they said that they focused on alternate investing, right? Like, for example, investing in like private companies, like for example, Cathie Wood's, their private funds, right? And working on things that other businesses don't have. But now that they've done implementing those things, they can look into options trading now, right? Like options trading was something that all the other brokers had, right? So it wasn't really that, like, even if they implemented it or if they didn't implement it, like I think Anthony Noto's plan was implement the things that other companies, other banks don't want, and the things that kind of lie more in interest, that are more of interest in our core demographic, right? The Henrys of the world, as I explained earlier, right? More hands-off investing. And then once we have those things that other companies do not have, then we can start implementing the things that other companies do have. Okay, and then they can cater towards the features that maybe their core demographic doesn't necessarily care that much about, but then other people might want, right? Like the degens like you and me. I guess just to wrap up, as I said before, Anthony legit just countered my every single point. I believe that business banking is coming soon. I don't know about Q3 specifically, maybe Q3, Q4. He did talk about interest rates a lot.
Came out of that quarter thinking there'd be 1 to 2 rate cuts and positioned our business to do that, which would give us still attractive revenue growth, maintaining profitability, but just as importantly, having a strong balance sheet to take advantage of when rates go down. As rates come down, we'll see a real pickup.
But I think that it's possible that he might want to front run the interest rate cut and then start offering business banking, start offering business loans. So thanks, Sofi, for proving me wrong, as everyone always does. This I really like this interview too, because it just like everyone that's like doubting how Sofi, well, maybe Sofi is going to miss the mark on Q2. Do you see how bullish Anthony Noto is?
Credit actually has performed relatively well throughout the year, and that's something I heard from a couple CEOs last night, and we're really happy with where it's performed as well, in line with our tolerance levels and our expectations. So all in all, I think we're setting up for a pretty strong back half of the year in 2025. As rates come down, we can start to offer them in the low 5s and maybe in high 4s. So that business will pick up. Our home loan business had historically been a refinancing business. We've invested a lot in being able to do purchase home loans, and we're now seeing that pick up and gaining market share there. And we've recently made the decision on home equity lines to give people even lower costs of debt. So
you can see it in his eyes, like when he mentions, "Oh, we see the light at the end of the tunnel." We see the interest rates are starting to come down, right? He's like super excited, super optimistic for the future, but also he says multiple times, basically he says the credit line of our business has done like basically to expectation, right? It's been perfectly fine. There's no problem with the credit side. He explains how like they're firing on cylinders, and he says that for this quarter, right? He says that this quarter, yeah, it's been great, right? He basically says it's been great. The credit side of our business has been working. It has been providing fruits, right? He didn't once mention like maybe like Q2 would be bad. He's just sitting there. He seems super confident, and he seems super optimistic of the future, right? That just goes to show you how like I don't want to. Okay, I'm just gonna say Q2 is gonna be trash. Okay, don't have high expectations. That way, when they do beat, we can go to the moon. Okay, but like you see it in his eyes, right? He says one thing. He says, "Oh, Q2, we're gonna lower the guidance," but like he is so confident. He is so like. He seems genuinely excited about the state of SoFi and how he's basically like he basically says once interest rates are coming down, we're gonna slaughter. We will slaughter. that's basically what it sounds like he's saying. Oh, another side note on the TA. If they're actually recommending people to short the stock right now. One, I feel like that means that they're running out of money. They don't have any more money to short or like to keep their shorts stable. Two, they ran out of people to influence to sell the stock. And then three, they're adding more retail shorts, right? And then it didn't really go down that much. It went down 15 cents and then it snapped back up 30 cents. If there is a short squeeze, I don't know how that's going to unravel. I'm really discounting the possibility of a short squeeze, but things are looking interesting. I don't know. That's just me. Have a good one. Go SoFi.